Okay, greetings everyone. Thank you for being here today. We are presenting on the Enhancing School Capacity to Address Youth Violence program, and this is a training and technical assistance overview that we are providing today. Now, before we begin, I do want to acknowledge that this program is funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, and without them, funding for this program would not be possible. So thank you. Let's provide just a brief overview of some of the things that we hope to touch on today. We will share a little bit about LISC, just by way of background. We'll talk about this particular grant program. We'll touch on our training and technical assistance model. We'll share some resources with you. And finally, we will end with some next steps. Now, on the screen are the different staff here that are going to be supporting you in your journey as you implement your various grant programs. Now, for some of you, this may be your first time experiencing training and technical assistance. And for that, we say welcome. We are so excited to work with you. In a nutshell, we really want to ensure the success of your program, and we try to support you in different approaches and strategies that best meet your needs. Later on, my colleague James, who's here as well, will talk a little bit more about what training and technical assistance looks like and how we can support you specifically with individualized supports. So a little bit about LISC, or the Local Initiative Support Cooperation, and you can see on the screen some of the buckets there that really help to distill our work down in an easy to digest manner. But for the sake of simplicity, we are an investor, a capacity builder, a convener, an innovator. We really put ourselves to work for you and for the community through a host of different topics and points of emphasis. And I think some of those you'll see come out over the life cycle of this project. Now, our reach is pretty expansive. On the screen, you can see all the different states that we are in and the different communities. And over the life of the project, especially if you are in a community where you see it up on the screen there, know that we are likely to connect you with some of those local resources and do our best to support you. And with that, I also just want to acknowledge that we have local offices as well as national teams that are here to support you. So while this particular project will focus on some of the school-based and community-based efforts, know that if there are other areas of overlap or other areas of impact, we absolutely are here to support you as well. Now, specific to today's presentation, we are in the Safety and Justice team. And on the screen, you can read a little bit more about what we do. But for the sake of simplicity, I would just offer that we really try to make our impact in a few core areas. That includes creating healthier communities, making progress with alternatives to arrest and incarceration, providing some direct technical assistance, and really supporting people who are reentering home from the community. We know that these are really just high areas of need. And to the extent that we can support you and your projects and your community in making progress in these areas, those are some of the things that we do try to do. Now, while we're here specifically to talk about the Enhancing School Capacity to Address Youth Violence program, we also did not want to pass up the opportunity to highlight some of the different work that we do. We have community violence and intervention prevention projects, a rural violent crime reduction initiative, a school violence initiative. And so I think all these just help to paint a picture, at least on the federal side, on just the different places that we're able to make an impact. And we hope that we can leverage these experiences in a good way to support you as you think about maybe some unique ways or some innovative ways that you can implement your particular programs. Now, for the sake of not assuming, on the screen just are some really high-level highlights on this particular grant program. And so obviously, a core component is the project supports targeted efforts to address youth violence through implementing evidence-based prevention and intervention efforts in a school-based setting. And we know that many of you are taking just very different approaches to meet this kind of overarching approach. And so much of what we want to do over the life of the project is to learn more about those different approaches that you're doing, see how best they impact your community, and see where the places are that we can help you to maximize that impact. And one of the things that we certainly do want to encourage and impart on you is this is a newer grant program. And so with that, will come the inevitable bumps and bruises, but it also presents a great opportunity for innovation. And so we absolutely want to hear the different things that you're maybe piloting to try to make an impact. And to the extent that we can support those efforts, and James will talk a little bit more about some of our subject matter experts, know that we do want to help you as you are being creative in implementing approaches and strategies that maybe have not been tried in the past, but you think will have a positive impact in your community. That said, there certainly are some overarching project deliverables, and we'll just highlight some of the big ones right here for you on the screen. So if you just look at the red text, just for ease of a cheat sheet, so to speak, within 9 months of your agreement with OJJDP, there is this requirement for a school safety strategic plan. Over the life of the project, we'll talk a little bit more detail about what that means, but certainly want to put that on your radar. There is an expectation, if you look at that second box, that the projects work to identify a service network of community-based organizations that have experience in the violence prevention and early intervention space. And I would offer, if perhaps you're reading that and thinking, we don't quite have that expertise yet, that's okay. We're here. We're certainly going to help you develop those networks, think about what's available, think about if there's maybe some asset mapping that we can do to kind of help you make progress in that area as well. And then finally, I also want to highlight that last category that you see on the screen where there's a mention of service backpacks. And at its most basic level, this is really talking about some individualized and some specific supports for youth and family that are in their program to help them be successful. We know that the participants in your programs are coming to you every day with just a range of needs. And one of the things that this project does want to do is to make sure that the adequate resources and supports are in place to help our youth be successful. And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to James to talk a little bit more about training and technical assistance.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you. So briefly, for folks who are new to TTA, let's just kind of set the foundation. Basically, it's the planning, development, and delivery of services to help you achieve your goals. So think of this as almost like if you're a school and you're going to teacher, you have the professional development days. One of the things that's very difficult about this grant program is you're often trying to create something brand new or trying to pilot something. And so we're here to help you deliver that from planning all the way through the implementation. Next slide, please. So the big thing for this that I think you all are going to be very happy about is that this is free. We're here to help you. So anytime you have a question, you needed some resources, you need a thought partner, you have a challenge that you're going through, we're here to help you. So email us, call us. We are paid to help you achieve your grant objectives. And again, this is complicated. This is, as Ricardo was saying earlier, this is a newer grant program. And one of the things that OJJDP had foresight was that a lot of the schools are saying, hey, we're asked to be doing a whole complement of new things and addressing new challenges that we're not necessarily trained to do. And so bringing in community partners who have relationships with students, partners, community members, families that schools don't have will be essential to your success. But that often comes with a number of challenges, and we're here to help you answer those challenges. Next slide, please. So there are various styles of TTA, and we're much more of the style of a thought partner. We want to be able to listen to you. As Ricardo was saying, we're an intermediary organization, and we really hone in on listening first. So as part of our process, we want to hear what goals you want to achieve and accomplish, how you want to do that, what are the partners you want to connect with, what is the data, and how do you define success? And so we're going to help you through all of those things with hands-on assistance, and that can be connecting with us. We have a pool of subject matter experts that have been both community-based and school-based that we can connect you with, that can share their experiences and walk you through some of the ways that they achieve success. It might be webinars, it could be conversations we have virtually. We'll be there in person too. We have site visits that we'll be doing to kind of walk through your schools, learn more about your community, the partners that you're working with. And then as Ricardo was saying, ultimately we want to be able to pass on best practices to other schools and communities that can learn from your work. So we want to be able to capture what you're doing really well, but also kind of get a sense of what isn't working, and how can we help both you, but also the field, be able to kind of overstep those obstacles that you're might be coming across. Next slide, please. So we have basically two types of TA. So OJJDP has funded a number of different partners, and part of the work that we're going to be doing is assessing all of the organizations that have been funded, kind of getting a sense of what everybody's strengths are, what everybody's weaknesses are, so that we can prioritize the resources that we're providing to you. So those resources are going to come through several different formats. Could be webinars, fact sheets, could be bringing in experts from the field to have conversations with folks. We'll also offer office hours. We also have this tool, Basecamp, where you can ask questions of your peers, ask questions of us, share examples of survey tools, of flyers that you guys are creating to promote your programs. We want to be able to create this connection point between you and your peer organizations. So that's sort of the macro level TA. And then on the micro level TA, this is the individual supports that we're providing to you. So as part of our work, we're going to be reaching out to you, doing assessment calls, again, really understanding what is going well in your community, where there's areas of opportunity. And we're going to create a training and technical assistance plan just for you. So for instance, if you are saying, hey, we're trying to create this program to reduce the numbers of suspensions, and we're thinking about doing it school-wide, we might come back to you and say, all right, well, you could do a school-wide, but are there areas that you can use the data to refine and prioritize maybe a school or maybe a grade level where you're seeing a specific problem, and pilot something there. We're also going to be providing regular contact with your TTA lead. So as part of the TTA, you're going to be assigned a TTA lead, have regular conversations, kind of go through that thought process with the TA lead, and they'll connect you with subject matter experts, peers. As we had shown you, we've gotten a lot of questions from communities throughout the country. So most questions we've probably heard. We might not be able to answer all things. If we can't, we'll definitely, kind of act as a point guard and pass you on to a subject matter expert who can better answer the question. We'll also be connecting with you through the site visits. And I think what's really important as well is that we want the work that you're doing to be sustained. So we'll be thinking about how do we make sure that the pilot program that you're creating, the new work that you're doing, doesn't stop when this grant period ends. The other thing that I think that's important, and one of the things that we learned, is that when we're doing this, we want to kind of create a buffet of options for you all. We want to, if you're interested in providing a school diversion program through restorative justice or something like that, we want to be able to give you a couple of different models to look at to kind of get a sense of, all right, this is how they've done it in other communities, to be able to really determine what works for your community. So you all can kind of look through those options, and then tell us, I like this component of this program, this other component of the other program, and we'll help you try to plan and implement a program that works for your community. Next slide, please. So as I've been saying, we're going to be connecting you with subject matter experts as well. Those are folks that have experience both in the schools or in the community implementing programs to reduce youth violence. And they may be community violence intervention organizations, health partners, parent organizations, school groups, other groups that have a very technical knowledge about specific topics. They'll provide you practical and applicable feedback. So, they'll share the experiences that they've gone through, what's worked, where they had challenges, and help you work through your own project hurdles. Next slide, please. Example of some of the subject matter experts. We have Alliance of Concerned Men in DC. They provide crisis response for schools addressing youth violence. Center for Justice Innovation, they do some restorative justice work. Oscar Harris and Nicole, they're school-based folks that have been doing some amazing programming in Spokane. Urban Peace Institute is a program like Alliance of Concerned Men that provides programs like Safe Passages. And Westhead is one of our close partners that's going to be with our team providing thought-based work to you all as well. Next slide, please. So, what should you expect from TA? Regular TA support. So that's that thought partner and collaboration. We're going to be having calls with you regularly. It's typically every month, but you all can determine what makes sense for you all. Some of you may say, hey, I'm planning something and I would like to get a little bit more intensive conversation. So maybe every other week. And some of you may say, hey, everything's going really well. Maybe something every other month. We're going to also make sure that we connect you to the peer community of practice, resource tools. Like I said, the webinars, knowledge sharing documents, practical examples of programming. And again, this is all free. It's all what you want to ask for, we will try to provide to you. So some of the topics that you can expect us to focus in on, as this grant requires this backpack of services. So we're going to help you look at the community and who are the partners in the communities that you should be engaging. Who are credible messengers that have critical links to youth and families that are involved either as an offender or as a victim of violence, and how can we connect with them in a more sustained way? We're going to talk about school-based trauma, mental health supports, restorative justice, wellness centers in classes. We want to be able to, again, help you think about how a number of different ways that your school can implement community or connect communities and schools to reduce youth violence. So overall, the benefits, hopefully you're going to achieve success with the goals that you had wanted to achieve, but also sustain this work long term. So we're going to be able to hopefully promote the work that you're doing, so that when you're looking at additional funding or to expand the program, you have the tools, the data, the resources that you need to support your program long term. Next slide. So we wanted to kind of close it with providing you a number of different resources. So if you can click on the QR codes, you'll see our Safety and Justice Resource Library. You can see examples of many of the resources that we and our subject matter experts have created in the past. You can sign up for our Safety and Justice newsletter, where we'll highlight webinars, training opportunities, funding opportunities, peer connections that we're going to be engaging, I guess probably in the month or so. We'll also have ESCAYV. We used to call it ESCAVE, but we don't call that anymore. but this grant program's resources. So as new webinars go up, as resource tools are being provided, check that website out. Definitely bookmark that for future use. And then we also have some additional tools that will be connecting you, like this, the tools for youth and teens. So this provides kind of an example of the resources that we provide. So as far as the next steps, you know, please confirm and provide accurate contact information when we're engaging you. You know, we typically get contact information from OJJDP. We know that sometimes those individuals move on to different jobs or different roles. So we want to make sure that we're contacting the right person from your community. So make sure, you know, as we reach out to you, you provide us the contact information of folks that we should be engaging. We're going to have intro calls with your TA leads if you haven't had them already. We're going to be also doing requesting that you complete the program self-assessment. This is the tool that Ricardo probably has sent out to many of you. Just getting a sense where you think your program's strengths and areas of opportunity are. We'll then have a follow-up call where we go through that with you and then create a TTA plan that fits for you. So the training and technical assistance plan that identifies, you know, what types of training and technical assistance opportunities we're going to prioritize to support your grant program. And then, you know, there's going to be many opportunities to participate in webinars and engagement opportunities. These are all tools to help you move forward and achieve success in this grant program. With that, thank you very much. Ricardo, do you have anything else?
Just exactly that. Just thank you so much for being available. Thank you for your time today. And we look forward to working and partnering with each and every one.